Hey guys, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down Instagram content strategies and what you can do from the beginning to make sure that companies that are spending big on hiring influencer marketers actually find exactly what they are looking for. One of the biggest challenges for somebody who is getting started on Instagram and creating the type of content and influence that actually businesses are willing to partner with them and do business with them, simply because most of the businesses that are actually hiring influencer marketers who can help them in marketing their businesses, there are some specifics that they're actually looking for. So when you miss out, or when your Instagram profile misses out on these specifics, it doesn't matter how many followers you actually have in your Instagram account. It's not gonna amount to anything. So really, the linchpin of your Instagram profitability, or if you are actually intending of turning Instagram into a profitable business that you can actually scale up and bring in more revenue over and over, you really have to think about how you want to strategically position yourself as a viable brand partner who can actually bring value to the businesses that are willing to partner with you. Now, there are so many ways that I think you could be able to sort of look at this, but understanding exactly what companies are looking for and why companies would want to partner with you is the best place to start from whenever you are planning on to do a bit of an overhaul into how your Instagram account is sort of perceived from an outsider's point of perspective. You really have to understand why a brand would want to partner with you. In this video, what I want to do is sort of just give you 5 points why a business, why a brand would want to partner with you in promoting their products or services as an Instagram. Businesses are actually hiring influencers at the moment, whether if you have an influential presence on Instagram or in any other social media platforms that you publish content and engage with your audience. Company that is going to hire you as an Instagram influencer is going to hire you simply because they are looking for somebody who can help them build the trust with the audience that you already have. So one of the best things that you could do before you actually get hired is to make sure that the audience that you have knows your values. They trust you. They know that your audience, they trust you, and they also know and like what you stand for as a brand. So the first thing that you really have to think about when you are creating your social media presence, really think deep and look into how you can best position yourself as somebody whose audience knows, likes, and trusts. Because without these factors in place, your social media presence might look colorful, but it's not going to be monetizable. Not long ago, Kevin Hart had to back out of a social event that he was supposed to go and present, and the reason is simply because of some of the stuff that he actually posted a couple of years back, long before this job came along. So when you're posting your content or when you're creating your Instagram content strategy, don't just look at a short-term gratification. Think of it as a business, that whatever you do inside that business, whether at a personal level or at a business level, in one way or another, is going to come and affect the decisions or maybe opportunities that are coming ahead of you. Now, as a small business owner, probably most of the things at the moment you're doing on your own, and this is the biggest opportunity I think that you have to make sure that each and every piece of content that we publish online is a seed of goodwill for any business that wants to partner with you in the future and do business with you. Because you think businesses just go out and hire people simply because they've got a large following, you're missing the whole point of social media marketing and advertising. Because the idea for them is they're looking for people who are actually trustworthy in their own influential areas. So if you are an influence in a certain market section, make sure that you preserve that by making it clear for what you stand for as your personal values and what your brand stands for as a business. All right, because without these three things, it's going to be very difficult for any brand to come from outside and sort of like understand exactly what is it that you stand for. So don't go online and publish silly things outside of your business and think that is not gonna affect what you do as a business. Kevin Hart is a good example of an ideology that he thought going online and doing a rant would not affect his career, simply because he didn't see Instagram being on the horizon, or maybe he didn't see presenting at such huge events being something that was going to be on the horizon. Really simple things like these can become an obstacle in an obvious opportunity that you could have actually easily just bagged and collected the check and went home. So make sure, one, whether it's personal or business, think about long-term impact. Whatever you do online is going to affect you, and Instagram is a perfect example of that. What you post on your profile, it doesn't matter whether you posted it 3 years ago or 6 years ago. There are tools and resources that Fortune 500 companies or huge brands actually use to track mentions online, to track certain keywords, to track who is active in this area and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that you would want to look into to make sure that if there's anything that is going to stand in the way, you get that out of the way. And maybe if you feel like there's a need to clarify or to sort of like reaffirm your values and what you stand for or what your brand stands for, make sure that you bring that in the forth so that everyone knows exactly that they might find certain things that may look like that's what you stand for, but actually that's not what you are. This is what you are. So make it clear of what sort of values your brand stands for, because if anybody is going to start building trust with your business or with your brand, it's not going to start on Instagram simply because they have seen the last 10 posts that you posted about inspirational quotes and things like that. It's going to start simply because they've looked into what you're doing now. They also went back and looked at what you were doing 5, 6, 8 years ago. There is no way these days you could actually go online, post something silly, and when you delete it and you should think that it's gone. No way. Whatever you do online, it doesn't matter how small it is, it's going to have an impact on you and on others who are going to see what you're doing online. So make sure that you keep that in mind in whatever you're doing. Brands would want to hire you as an Instagram influencer. It's the fact that these brands are looking for authenticity. So if you are not being authentic in the areas that you're sort of like creating content or you have an influence, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually come and hire you to work with you, simply because you are not meeting some of the little boxes that they want you to tick and make sure that you fit in snag in those areas. So authenticity is one of the things that you really have to make sure that in whatever you're doing on Instagram or in any other social platform is congruent to what you intend to be as a brand, short term and long term. It's possible to have an Instagram account and also to be politically charged and have opinions about events that are happening within the communities. But the one thing I think when we are just getting started as a brand, as a small business, we forget that we have the responsibility to create the kind of image that we want people to see today, but also the image that we want people to see tomorrow. And people who are authentic are people who actually take a position today, and if you go 3, 6 months, 12 months down the road and ask them about their position, they will maintain that position simply because it's built within their within their beliefs. That's what they stand for. So being authentic is also making sure that when you're taking positions, you're not just taking positions simply because you've been pushed into those positions because of social extremes that you find to be valid at the moment because of your social class or your social standing. You have to have foresight. Don't get carried by these things. They come and go. If you're building a brand on Instagram, they are the potential business owners who are going to hire you. They are going to look at simple things like this, and when you take social positions that are obviously evolving, political beliefs and the political warfares, they change over time. This time around, people are fighting for medical care for all. They are fighting for free college tuition and things like that, or maybe environmental issues. 3-4 years down the road, people won't be fighting over these issues because somebody would have come in and solved these problems. There will be new problems that they would want to come in and sort of like start fighting over those. So don't take those positions that are very likely to change over time. It's not a crime to actually have beliefs and take positions, but don't include those positions in public platforms like Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, or writing a blog post, because these things are things that they are going to become stumbling blocks along the way, simply because you failed to actually see them from a distance, to take measures that they didn't mix up with with your business. We have brands that have been around for hundreds of years. These guys have managed to weather all the seasons and become so dominant in the marketplace and relevant even after 100 years, simply because they didn't take positions that prevented them from evolving. If you take a position that is seen to be politics of today, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, your brand is not going to be relevant. So as you're getting started as a small business owner, you have the responsibility to make sure that the way how you brand yourself, either the way how you publish your content, the way how you create your virtual image, is consistent with what would happen even if anything changed 3, 4, 5 years down the road. All right? Understand that the businesses that are going to hire you, they are looking for somebody who can build trust across the board, whether somebody is politically on the left-hand side or maybe on the right-hand side of politics. Don't get caught in between these. These things, they come and go. Your brand is going to have to survive these and weather all these situations and still be relevant, whether somebody comes from left or from right. All right? It's going to want to work with you is simply because brands that are hiring influencer marketers at the moment, they're looking for an Instagram account or an Instagrammer who has managed to filter out all the noise and target specifically a niche market that particular brand is interested in. So don't just go on Instagram and be an Instagram of everything. Today you're posting about cookery, tomorrow you're posting about weight loss, the other day you're posting about inspirational quotes. Be specific. Create an Instagram account where when somebody lands on your Instagram account, they know that you stand for this specific niche. They know that when you publish content, this is the area that you're publishing. When people start a blog, a WordPress blog, they'll write pretty much all the things that are happening, hobbies, DIY, they'll write about fashion, they'll write about food and things like that. it doesn't really help for a company that's specifically looking for, people who are actually, clear on the mandate, or clear on the brand, or clear on the values that they actually stand for. Companies that are going to hire you as a marketing partner in the social media marketing, they want to make sure that you actually speak directly to a specific audience. If you can't get that down to the dot, you're not going to get hired. Or even when companies hire you, they are not going to pay you more money because you have diluted the value of the brand and the values that you actually stand for as a business. What you want to do is to make sure that you look at the market that you want to go into, and make sure that you narrow it down good enough that you have wiggle room to create content consistently without having run out of subjects to discuss. It's not possible for you to be able to corner yourself to do that when you niche down, because when somebody is niching down, it doesn't necessarily mean that when they talk about beginner affiliate marketing and stuff like that, then they'll only focus on beginner affiliate marketing only, or on the Instagram only. You can't build your business around products or platforms like Instagram. We've seen platforms come and go. We've seen weight loss fads come and go, and all sorts of things that have come and gone over time. People who are smart, people who are sort of like insightful, they create sustainable brands by making sure that they are not creating their presence online around products. They're creating a brand as something that I think people can buy into, and they create the products inside that brand where the products can actually evolve and change without affecting what the brand stands for. That's the most important part of what you need to understand in whatever you're doing. All right? So you probably would want to know what a good influencer marketer would want to look like. Well, for a start, like I said, a very good influencer marketer brands are willing to work with is somebody who has got their niche market dialed perfectly to a dot. So it's important to make sure that you take a stock of content that you create, stuff that you find more valuable to share with others, things that you understand very well, that when you start talking about this subject, you can talk about this subject over and over and over without actually running out of ideas, but also making sure that you're providing value to your audience. Things that when you start talking about, people stop and listen. That's some of the things that you can actually look into. All right? A very good influencer marketer who is likely going to be hired is somebody who has clear values that they actually stand for. Don't be wishy-washy about the kind of values that your business stands for, or your brand actually stands for. Because if you're wishy-washy about what you stand for, you're diluting, you're eating into your brand value. So anybody who hires you to work with you, they're not going to find really value in your brand, even if you've got tens and tens of followers and subscribers who follow you, because it's not going to mean anything to them. It's going to be just pretty much like any other average Joe they know in town who has 100,000 followers. Problems that I've seen on the market, especially on Instagram and Facebook, is the fact that we all get obsessed with the idea that people or Instagram accounts that have got hundreds and hundreds of followers are the ones that are actually making money, simply because we tend to think that making money on Instagram is about having tens and thousands of followers, but that's not necessarily true. Organic traffic that comes into Instagram and finds your content and likes what you stand for and likes what you publish and decides to follow you is one of the best ways that you can actually have a responsive audience that likes, trusts, and knows what you stand for, and they know that when you publish a piece of content, you mean exactly what you say on that piece of content. That's one of the things I think that you have to understand about Instagram. So there are other guys who actually go on Instagram and use traffic that's generated by bots. They go and buy likes and follows. If you think you can actually go buy traffic and follows for your Instagram to look like you've got tens and thousands of followers, well, you'll be surprised that the brands that are actually hiring influencers, they know how to actually screen real organic Instagram traffic and fake Instagram followers that you actually buy from whoever that you want to buy. So if you're building a business, all right, don't even be tempted to go out there and start paying for Instagram traffic or Instagram likes, or maybe hiring bots that should come and like your posts to make them look like popular. It's not gonna help. It's not gonna serve you well, because whatever money that you have left, or whatever source of money that you are burning out trying to juice up your Instagram account, the moment that money runs out, your account is gonna look pretty much like a ghosty town, like what it would have looked if you only took time to just grow it organically. Even if you only have 1,000 followers, if 1,000 followers are the type of people a business is looking to speak to, they would be more than happy to actually speak to it, to hire you so that they can speak to your audience, simply because it's the 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 followers who are on Instagram that the company is looking to speak to, than to go and hire an Instagram influencer who has got tens of thousands of fake followers. It doesn't make sense. So really, find time to put in the work. All right, find time to put in the work. Find strategies that you can organically drive and grow your Instagram account without actually using bot traffic and whatever sources that you go and get fake people to come and like and follow your account, because it's not gonna save you. It's not gonna save your business, and it's going to damage your reputation. The moment businesses discovers that your account is not worth what it looks like on the surface, they are not gonna want to do business with you, because that's lack of trustworthiness right there. Just to quickly share with you some of the things that they would want, some of the things that a brand would want to look into your Instagram account before they hire you. Because a lot of gurus who are actually teaching about Instagram and things like that, they will tell you that, you have to have a media kit that you can send out to companies and things like that. Yes, that's necessary. That's important to have when you are building a business where you're using your social influence as a form of currency. One of the most important things that you really have to think about when you are creating your Instagram presence is the fact that people who are going to hire you, right? They are looking at what type of followers are following you when you are on Instagram, or what type of followers have you built for yourself over time. What kind of engagement are the followers actually giving you every time you publish a piece of content? Those are some of the things that are very, very crucial in the steps on how a company would, or a brand would decide to partner up with you. Long before they partner up with you, they would want to look into that. They want to make sure that your audience is responsive enough when you publish a piece of content on your Instagram account. What is the velocity of your sort of like engagement? So engagement velocity in your Instagram account matters, and the only way how you are able to get that is when you know how to dial down your messaging on Instagram, the way how you engage with each and everybody who is coming on your Instagram account. I find it very offensive when I follow somebody on their Instagram, and when they post something on Instagram and I go and comment or like that post and they don't engage back to me. And if I don't like that, so will other people find it offensive as well when they comment on your content. You don't take time to spend a few minutes to actually go and say, hey, thank you for liking my post, or maybe just engaging. This is your audience. And Instagram is supposed to be a feedback, it's supposed to be a social feedback chamber. I give, you give, and then we sort of like have a relationship where we are bouncing back our energies. That's how it's supposed to be. So you will find that when you have a smaller Instagram account where you're not getting that much engagement, you will find it a lot easier to manage that kind of relationship with your audience. When you post a post, they come and like it, and then you go back and like it. But when you have tens of thousands, you start finding yourself like sort of like this person who is being followed simply because it's cool and the rest are just followers. That's not the way how Instagram works. If you really want to build a responsive audience on Instagram, when you post a post, it takes some time to spend a couple of minutes there to see how the engagement is going. And if somebody is engaging with your content, jump in there and comment, or maybe give feedback. If they say anything, if they write any comment, they mention your hashtag or whatever, get in there and give feedback that your audience needs, because that's how you keep your audience engaged on your platform with the content that you create. Spending 5-10 minutes when you have just published a new post on your account is not gonna hurt you. It's going to do your account far much better than just ditching out content or churning your content out simply because you automated these articles last week. And this is one of the things that I also share with some of my audience in my Facebook private group. I tell people that inside that Facebook group, I tell people that if you are going to schedule content that goes out on a day-to-day basis, you know which platforms these pieces of content are getting published to, and you also know which time these pieces of content are going out to your audience. If you can't be there for your content to engage with your audience, find somebody who could be there for your audience. You could either hire a virtual assistant, or you have a team that manages feedback between yourself and your audience, because this is your business. All right. It might look like Instagram marketing is a hobby for you. I'm not talking about people who are on Instagram as a hobby. I'm talking about people who are spending time on Instagram as a business. So if you're going to treat it as a business, right, you might as well find people who can actually help work with you even when you've got tens of thousands of followers following you. Because the idea why you're posting content is because you want people to engage with your content. You want to communicate a certain message to your audience. Don't just pin stuff on Pinterest or post stuff on Instagram and then you walk away and hope that everything works. People who are growing their Instagram account organically, they are people who are sitting there 5-10 minutes, engage with their audience as they are engaging with the content they've published. Don't just stick a post on Instagram and walk away and let the audience deal with it. That's not the way how we build a responsive Instagram account. We build it by making sure that we are being proactively engaging with our audience, and where value is needed, you go in there, you jump in and provide the value that the audience is looking for. I know that there are so many things that we do as a business. We have to run a business. We have to do certain chores inside the business, outside of Instagram and things like that. But if you feel Instagram is not valuable, or is not time well spent, don't engage in publishing content there, because there is no point. The reason why you're including Instagram into your business is simply because you find leads that you generate from Instagram to be worth the time and value, that you put in there. So make sure that if you're starting an Instagram account as a business, treat it as a business. Don't treat it as a hobby and expect the results of a business out of it. The other thing that a business also wants to understand, or maybe would look into when they are engaging when they are considering to hire you as an Instagram partner to market their products or services, is they want to make sure that they understand and know how many posts are you gonna do for a fee that you intend to exchange as a payment from them. So in many cases, some of you guys who are just getting started on Instagram and you're building your following at the moment, you may not really have sort of like the capital that you need, or I should say the value that they would see as something that they would want to pay tens of thousands for just one post. But we do know that there's a certain section of social media influencers who are actually charging a post for tens of thousands. Don't rush into thinking about that, but at least have in place sort of like a strategy that kind of like outlines that if somebody hires you for $1,000, then you are gonna post one post or two posts, or you are gonna create one video and post it on your Instagram account, and that is it. But then you also find that because there are conditions like if you are going to hashtag the post that you've created, that hashtag obviously is going to be a brand or business mention, and if this business is tracking their mentions, they might find that mention online, or if you give them an audit of what you've done, they will see that these are the hashtags that you've been using in their mentions. And when you go online and find those hashtags, you find the content that was published by you as an influencer. All right, so what other companies do is they will curate that content and then go and repurpose it on other platforms where you haven't sort of like agreed that if they did that, you would still get paid for doing that, or maybe they are not allowed to do that. Instagram content, this is your content that you're creating and publishing on Instagram. Even though it's somebody's platform, but there is an element of ownership that when you create content, you own the rights of those pieces of content. So make sure you make it clear on the social media marketing kit, or whatever form of communication that you're using to communicate with the businesses that intend to hire you as their influencer marketer. Make it clear so they understand that when promotions cross platforms, that would be considered as a different sort of like a different promotion that they need to pay for, or maybe they are allowed to promote, to use your content outside of a platform where you originally shared content. Because it doesn't matter whether it's just a screenshot, right? A screenshot or a video that they've downloaded from your Instagram account and they've repurposed it in a blog post, which is published on the inside Washington Post or anywhere else where it's been shared. If you are not part of promoting that can have sort of like an impact on your brand, because whatever is happening outside of your Instagram account, if you can't control it, somebody is going to have to control it for you. And if they are going to control it for you, you have no control over what they do with the pieces of content that you publish. But for people who see you, right? For people who see you, they're not going to sort of like differentiate between you as a brand and what other brands that have hired you are doing. So you will find that don't just go out there and agree to say, okay, yeah, I will promote your business in this way and that way, without actually putting it in writing exactly, or sort of like making it clear exactly what one post or what multiple posts would be paying for and what that is allowed to cover. Hashtags, when you create hashtags, they are sort of like assets. They don't go anywhere else. A hashtag, when you've created a hashtag and publicized it very well, it can become a lucrative asset for your brand and business. So when you're creating relationships with businesses that are hiring you, promote their business, you have to understand whether there's an agreement in place, is shared, or how is used and repurposed in the marketing platforms. And if you can't control these as part of your assets, somebody is going to have to do it for you. A potential partner in the social media marketing, they want to make sure that they see a very good return on their investment. So what they would be looking into this is to make sure that they know if they put in 10K into your business, they should be able to recoup 3-4 times value out of that 10K that they've put in there. So if you can't deliver on these things, if you know that your campaigns are not going to deliver on these things, don't just get carried away and do these deals. Or if you really want to make sure that you can deliver these things, start doing the work now, preparing your audience, preparing your assets, making sure that you've got multiple points of contact with your audience, right? Not just on Instagram. A good business partner is one who goes into a meeting with a media kit that says, these are my stats for Instagram, all right? These are my Instagram stats, but these are my email opening stats as well. So the campaign goes on Instagram, but it would also go into my email list where I've got 10,000 subscribers for this particular niche. Once you have that in place, it's more valuable for a business to see that their campaign is going to yield the type of return on investment that they were anticipating. Because in many cases, when you have an Instagram account with 10,000 followers and you have an email list with 5,000 followers, a business that knows how to market, it knows that if you are offering these two assets as a bundle, they know that the return on investment for their campaign is going to be 3 or 6 times more than what they had anticipated. That's how you build value for your business. So whether you're building your trade on Instagram, don't just grow a following on Instagram. Make sure that you're also able to funnel that following into an email list, into a blog, where you are also creating a good readership there on your blog, because with that you can also collect stats from your Facebook analytics account. If you pixel your blog properly, you are able to collect the type of data that companies that are looking into hiring a marketing partner would want to see. Don't just create an Instagram account and hope that companies that are going to hire you, they would only be looking at how many followers you have. There are so many things that you could actually put inside your social media marketing kit that you can put in front of your customers who are actually looking to hire you, to make yourself or to make the deals that you want to make a little bit more attractive. Companies that want to hire you, they want to make sure that you know who your audience are and why that company would be suitable for you, for the audience that you have. Because not everybody who is gonna come knocking on your door to say, hey, I want to market to your audience, it would be a perfect fit for your audience. Take some time and screen out and understand what that business stands for, and if it has the values that align very well with what you stand for. Because even they're paying you 10K today, it doesn't mean that they would come back tomorrow or next month and pay you another 10K to promote to your audience, simply because if they didn't find value, or if they found value enough and they extracted enough from you, they are going to move to the next person. So if you build an audience today and you bring in an offer that destroys the confidence that your audience has in you, you've destroyed your business, you've destroyed your personal brand. Your word and your messages are not going to be worth anything. So don't destroy the effort that the resource that you've built, the time that you've put in building the following that you have, simply because you want to get paid today. But you also have to understand that when you bring in a suitable offer to your audience, by making sure that the offer you're bringing in and the type of audience that you have, they are a match made in heaven, then that's a perfect offer for you to be able to promote to your audience, because you're not taking advantage of them, you're adding value to them. Right? You're providing them with the resources they need. A very good example is I teach businesses who are building on Instagram, to build an email list outside of their Instagram account. And what I do is I show them how to build a responsive email list that they use, the tools that they want to use, the way how to go about building strategies that they can use to make sure that they keep their email list responsive enough and engaged. These are some of the things that anybody who has never built a list would want to use when they're doing, and there are tools that you need to make sure that they are included in that. So if you don't put in those tools, if you recommend those tools to them and you don't show them how to use them, that's when it becomes a problem. But these are the tools that I'm using in my own business. So if I know how to use it in my own business, it's not going to be difficult for me to sit down here and do a 10-minute video of showing how I'm using these tools inside my own business. So that particular point, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, we've seen some of the videos where you talk about MailerLite and how you're using it to connect it with Thrive themes and to connect it with WordPress and build landing pages, for your audience to subscribe into some of the content upgrades that you're putting together. Can we promote this to your audience? I'll be like, yeah, because it fits in with my audience. My audience is, overworked 9 to 5, cubicle dwellers who are looking into building a business and then getting out of this hamster type of lifestyle where they are looking at getting a break and building their own businesses and work at their own time, earn good money and things like that. That's my audience, because they're just getting started, because they're in the building process. If I brought in a tool like MailerLite, if I recommended Thrive themes to them, if I recommended Elementor or Beaver Builder, these are the tools that they would want to use when they're building their platform in the early stages of their business. And I know these are the tools that I'm using on a day-to-day basis. So I want to be stuck, or I won't be having any problems in knowing how to show them how to use these tools. So yes, that's a perfect fit for me. They bring in a product and put it in front of their audience that is going to fit in perfectly, because when these two forces converge, they bring in the value that the audience wants. That's how it works. All right.